My name is Cyril Lachelle, and this is Triviagate. My job is to find out who knows the most about video games. We're joined today by Tino Montelli from Montreal, Canada, Jim Lewandowski from Chicago, Illinois, and Brandon Mayo from the great state of South Carolina. I'm about to ask these three contestants 20 difficult questions. And today we're going to find out who has what it takes to survive Triviagate. So here's how it's going to work. Today's quiz has been broken up in 4 categories and features a total of 20 questions, not including a tiebreaker, should it come to that. I quizzed Tino, Jim, and Brandon separately and mixed them all together to create this episode of Triviagate. We're going to start things off with one of my personal favorite categories, mascot games. Every question in this category will have something to do with a well-known mascot franchise. Here's question 1. Mario collected coins and Sonic grabbed rings. What floating object did Aero the Acro-Bat pick up? Alright, let's start with Tino.
That's a game that that's a low. So if you use Acro-Bat, let's see, I'm gonna coins, rings. I'm probably gonna be guessing balls.
Oh, well, I see where you're coming from, but no, balls is not the right answer. And Jim?
Wow, I know of Aero the Acro-Bat, but I honestly never played it. So I'm just gonna guess music notes.
Okay, well, sure, that would make sense, but no, that's not the right answer. Brandon, what's your answer?
Oh, shoot. I'm gonna say stars. I'm not sure.
You're right.
Oh, I am? All right, great.
Yeah, Aero the Acro-Bat wanders around the screen collecting stars that he can also throw. Good guess. Let's move on to the next question. Queen Slug-For-A Butt was the antagonist of what 16-bit action game? Alright, let's go ahead and start with Jim this time.
That would be Earthworm Jim.
You sound confident, and for good reason. Queen Slug-For-A Butt was, of course, the antagonist of Earthworm Jim. She was trying to use the ultra-high-tech, indestructible super space cyber suit to conquer the universe. She was also the boss in Buttville, the final level. And she also showed up in Earthworm Menace to the Galaxy, as well as the Earthworm Jim television show. Good job. Let's see if Brandon knows the right answer.
Earthworm Jim.
Excellent. And what about you, Tino?
That would be Earthworm Jim.
I may have made this quiz too easy. All 3 of you got that right. Let's move on to the next question. What's the name of the Bubsy the Bobcat game that's exclusive to the Atari Jaguar? Alright, Tino, you're only 1 point behind, so let's start with you.
Oh, that's good. Okay, What was the subtitle for that? It would be Bubsy the Bobcat 2. Oh, there's probably some, like, cat pun in it. Oh, I'm forgetting about it. Damn, I can't figure it out. Oh.
You were definitely on the right track with the cat pun, but no, that's not right. Alright, Jim, what's the right answer?
Bubsy in Furry Encounters of the Close Kind.
No, Claw's Encounter of the Furred Kind was actually the subtitle of the first game, not the Jaguar game. Alright, Brandon, maybe you can build on your lead.
That was Fractured Furry Tales.
Yeah, that's right, Bubsy and Fractured Furry Tales. It came out in 1994 on the Jaguar. Although it wasn't well received, it was the bridge between Bubsy 2 and that awful Bubsy 3D game that we should just forget about right now. Let's move on to the next question, in fact. Doki Doki Panic was turned into what popular 8-bit mascot game when it came to the United States? Alright, Brandon, you have 3 points. Let's see if you can make it 4.
Super Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah, you're right. Doki Doki Panic is Super Mario Bros. 2 here in the United States. Nintendo basically took an unrelated game and tossed in Mario, Luigi, the Princess, and Toad and turned it into a Mario game, and a pretty good one, too. Let's see if Jim knows.
That's Super Mario Bros. 2.
And what about Tino?
Oh, well, that would have to be Super Mario Bros. 2. Very fun.
Yeah, I agree, and everybody here knows that it's Super Mario Bros. 2, so everybody gets a point. Excellent! Let's go ahead and close out the category with this question. What was Bonk's futuristic counterpart? Alright, Tino, since you're behind, let's see if you know the right answer.
Oh, you got Bonk. What was his futuristic counterpart? Would it be like, for some reason I want to say like Master Higgins from Adventure Island, but probably wrong.
Oh no, Master Higgins was actually from Adventure Island, which is a completely different game. Whole different series. Though they were both made by Hudson, so at least you got that. Do you know who Bonk's futuristic counterpart is, Brandon?
Air Zonk.
Absolutely right, and I would have accepted just Zonk as well. Air Zonk was a fun little 2D shoot-'em-up on the TurboGrafx 16, and it even had a fun little follow-up called Super Air Zonk Rockabilly Paradise, both of which are worth playing. I think they're both on the Virtual Console as well. Alright, Jim, do you know the right answer?
That is Air Zonk.
Perfect, and another point for you. Air Zonk indeed. We need to get another one of those. Alright, it looks like we have something of a lead from Brandon, who has 5 points. He hasn't missed a question yet. Followed by Jim with 3 points and Tino with 2. But we still have a lot of questions left and it's anybody's game. So this is a good time to get to know our contestants. Up first we have Brandon Mayo, who's currently in the lead. Now, I see here that you're part of a website called Hawk and Croc, which is dubbed the world's mightiest comic.
World's most mightiest comics, yes. Yeah, that's just something I've been writing with my friend Andy Costello, who lives in Arizona. Just superhero comics and comedy comics that we've just been writing for about a decade now. Just for fun, basically.
Very cool, and it revolves entirely around Hawk and Croc?
It mostly focuses on the two main characters, Hawk and Croc, but there are a lot of other little series we've done featuring other characters. It's evolved over the years in art and writing. He does all the art. I can't draw at all. But just something fun that we've been doing, just for our friends and family.
All right, well, it sounds like I have a whole lot of catching up to do. Up next, we have Jim Lewandowski, who comes to us from Illinois. Now, you run a YouTube channel called Crow111. Tell me about that.
Well, I've had the YouTube channel for almost as soon as YouTube came up. And when I created the channel, I didn't really have any intention of creating videos. It was just a way of keeping track of the videos I was watching. And I did kind of put up a couple of videos like way back in 2006 that I just had laying around. But then around 2009, I started making videos pretty regularly. So I've jumped from subject to subject on there, but mostly within the last year, I've been mainly focusing on pinball related stuff. So I've been doing, the thing I've been doing recently was doing gameplays of all the Pinball FX 2 tables, as well as all of the Pinball Arcade tables. Now, I've been doing those for the Pinball Arcade tables for quite some time, but then just last year I was like, I should just focus on the pinball stuff. At least for a while, until I change things up again.
What's your favorite pinball machine?
My favorite pinball machine for a time was the Getaway High Speed 2. But about 3 or 4 years ago, I actually bought the Stern Star Trek pinball table. So that might be my favorite now. And I don't know if I'm just saying that because it's one I actually own.
I definitely need to play more pinball. Finally, we have Tino Montelli, who's up in Montreal, Canada. How are things in the Great White North, Tino?
It's right now it's pretty cold because of course it's winter. It seems like the weather is going a little more spring, but here in Montreal it's pretty cool because we have a bunch of gaming companies around, right? Like Ubisoft, BioWare, used to be THQ, and a bunch of others.
All right, so tell me about T-Dude64, the YouTube channel you're running.
Well, of course it's gaming, but mostly I like to do event videos around Montreal. So I go to different events, mostly gaming events, and try to film them from like Smash Bros. Tournaments to go into different conventions. I have a series of cosplay music videos that's been pretty popular. And then, of course, the old top 10s, game reviews, and game pickup videos. So pretty much everything that's not a Let's Play channel.
And what are you playing currently?
Well, on the Wii U, I'm currently playing NES Remix Pack, so that's always fun and kind of going back to those. Some of the games I didn't even play before, like, say, Wrecking Crew, for example. I never played that before. Other games including, I just recently got Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on the new Nintendo 3DS, which, I can't wait to play that. So, and a bunch of, side stuff here, side stuff there.
Okay, well, now that you've met our contestants, it's time to move on to our next category, Damsels in Distress. All of the games in this category will involve women who have been kidnapped. What was the name of the kidnapped girl in Vigilante? Alright, Tino, it's time for you to do a little catching up, so why don't you start us off?
I'm going to have to guess in this one, probably, I don't know, probably like Mary or something.
No, that's not right. And you're just saying that because Marion is kidnapped in Double Dragon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Alright, Jim, what do you say?
Wow, I'm gonna just guess Maria.
What's with you on this Marion, Maria thing? No, that's another wrong answer. Alright, Brandon, maybe you can salvage this thing.
Sarah, I don't know. I've never played it.
Oh no, all three of you got it wrong. The correct answer is actually Madonna. That's right, Madonna. She's captured by skinheads at the beginning of Vigilante, and I always thought that was kind of a memorable name. Very 80s. Alright guys, you need to do better than that. Let's see how you do with this next question. Who was Jumpman trying to save in Donkey Kong? This seems like a simple question, so what do you say, Tino?
That would be Pauline.
Absolutely right, and I also would have accepted the lady as she was known before she got her name change. But most people know her as Pauline, who was, of course, the kidnapped girl in the original Donkey Kong. Alright, Brandon, let's see if you can add to that lead.
Pauline.
Exactly right. Alright, Jim, I know you know the right answer.
Oh, shoot. Give me a second. I don't want to get it wrong, but I probably am. I'm going to be really close. If I'm not right, I'm wrong. Penelope?
Oh, no, it's Pauline. Pauline, Jim, Pauline.
Pauline, yes.
Oh, what a mistake. And that means that Tino is now tied 3-3. Of course, Brandon still has a commanding lead, but it's anybody's game. Let's see if you can do better at this next one. Whose girlfriend gets gunned down at the start of Double Dragon 2? Ugh, what a brutal scene that was. Alright, Jim, let's see if you can get back on the board.
Whose girlfriend in Double Dragon 2? Billy?
Alright, another right answer. Good job. Of course, if you know Double Dragon, then it's pretty much just a coin flip between Billy and Jimmy, but you chose right, so good job. Not taking that away from you. Not at all. Alright, Tino, what do you say?
Double Dragon 2. Okay, who's girlfriend? Okay, so it would have to be either Billy or Jimmy. Going to say Billy.
Another right answer. Alright, and finally, what do you say, Brandon?
Billy Lee.
Perfect, Billy Lee, that's correct. Now, I'm sure somebody in the audience is going to argue that at the end of Double Dragon, the two fight, and that one of them wins the girl, and blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, in the canon, Billy Lee and Marion are an item, not Jimmy Lee, so I don't even want to hear it. Don't even want to hear it. But you do want to hear the next question, so let's do this. Hiru is forced to rescue Lexia in what non-Capcom developed Strider sequel? And remember, we're looking for the American name. Alright, Tino, let's see if you can get back in this.
In what non-Capcom sequel to Strider? Oh, is it Shinobi?
Oh, no. Shinobi's part of the Shinobi franchise, not the Strider franchise.
Okay. I'm getting my ninja games mixed up. Oh.
Alright, Jim, you're down 3. Let's see if you can pick up some ground.
Wow, I absolutely have no idea. I'm just going to guess Strider Returns, even though that's probably absolutely wrong.
Whoa, that's quite a guess, and you're right. It is Strider Returns. Let's see if Brandon knows it.
The Strider Returns?
Huh, I see that neither of you went for the full title, which was Journey from Darkness, but yeah, Strider Returns is the right answer. It's not a very good game, but man, I do love Strider. Alright, let's see how you guys do with this final question. Who did Dr. Fetus kidnap in Super Meat Boy? Ah, that's a more recent game. Maybe that'll help you out, Jim.
Is it Meat Girl?
Oh, no, that did not help you out. No, that is not the right answer.
Oh, it's been a long time since I played the game.
All right, Brandon, tell Jim the right answer.
Bandage Girl, I think?
Excellent, and that brings you up to 9 points. And finally, Tino, let's see if you can tie with Jim.
Oh, that would be a Bandage Girl.
Perfect. Dr. Fetus does indeed kidnap Bandage Girl. Of course, it's a fun twist ending, but I'm gonna leave that for you. Alright guys, that brings us to the halfway point in this episode of Triviagate. We currently have an exciting game on our hands with both Jim and Tino battling it out for second place. They both have 5 points. Of course, Brandon's way out ahead with 9 points, but don't worry, relax, we still have 10 questions left. That's more than enough time to come back. Everybody knows about Sonic and Virtua Fighter, but these next questions are gonna go beyond the classics and look at the obscure Sega games. Let's see how many of these you know. What 1991 Sega oddity was known as Magical Flying Hat Turbo Adventure in Japan? Okay, Brandon, let's see if you can keep your streak alive.
Kid Chameleon?
Oh, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but no, that's not the right answer. Maybe you know this one, Jim.
Magical hat flying. I'm trying to think of a game with a magical hat. I can't even come up with an answer. I'm gonna have to pass.
You couldn't even think of one Sega game to toss out there, just not even one. All right. Okay, Tino, show him how it's done.
I want to say like Opa Opa, but probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Believe it or not, Magical Flying Hat Turbo Adventure actually became Decap Attack. Sega went through and changed the sprites to be more horror-themed, but the core game is still there. It's really odd jumping between the two games. Alright, let's move on. Who was the Forever Man?
Forever Man in Sega lore. Alright. I'm gonna just take a shot in the wind right now and say the antagonist of Phantasy Star.
Oh, no, I was looking for a name and that's definitely not it. What do you have for me, Jim?
Chakan, the Forever Man. Chakan.
There you go, and you even spelled it. That was unnecessary. Here's what I love about this game. Everybody seems to pronounce the name a little differently. I've always gone with Chakan, but you know what? I will admit that I'm probably wrong. But Chakan does sound good. But hey, maybe Brandon will come up with a completely different pronunciation.
Chakan.
That's the stuff. It brings you up to 10 points, and that's a 4-point lead. That's significant as we round out this category. Let's see what the next question brings. What bodacious Genesis game had you reassembling the surfboard of the ancients? Alright, let's start with Tino and see if he can catch up.
I feel like by just the vocabulary used, it's a very 90s game, and the most 90s Sega game I could think of is Toe Jam and Earl.
Well, you're right, that is definitely one of the most 90s games I can think of, but no, Toe Jam and Earl is not an obscure Sega game. This is way more obscure than that.
These are really obscure Sega games.
Okay, Brandon, maybe you know what game I'm talking about.
Toe Jam and Earl? I don't know.
Guys, no. Toe Jam and Earl is not an obscure Sega game. It's been on like every Sega collection, and it had a bunch of sequels. There's a new game coming out. It's not obscure. Okay, Jim, now's your time to pounce.
Is that Green Dog?
That's right. You rebuild the surfboard of the ancients in Green Dog, the beached surfer dude on the Genesis. I'm not gonna lie, that's an era of Sega I kinda love. They were just throwing any idea they had at the wall, and I really appreciate what they were trying to do. And with that, Jim is starting to mount a little bit of a comeback. He's now only 3 points behind Brandon, but time is running out. Here's the next question. What Sega Master System game had you shooting your way through a haunted house with a light gun? Ugh, this is a tough one. Tino, let's see if you can catch up.
Oh, Sega Master System game. Haunted house. Oh, man. I can't think of this one. I'm trying to think of, like, some of the characters in, like, Sega All-Star Racing, and, like, I don't think anyone else, or any character. Again, I'm going to take a shot at the dark and say Bonanza Brothers.
No, while that did have a Master System port, that was not a light gun game and did not have a haunted house. All right, Brandon, it's your game to lose.
Chiller?
Oh, no, that's not right. You're just falling apart in this category, aren't you, Brandon?
Man, I was more of a Nintendo kid, I'll be honest.
All right, Jim, here's another chance for you to catch up.
Oh, Laser Ghost. I had that game briefly at one point.
Jim is right. The game in question is Laser Ghost, one of the more interesting light gun games. So that right answer brings Jim within 2 points of Brandon. It kind of looks like we have a game on our hands. Let's see what happens when we finish off the category. Legendary guitarist Ronnie Montrose provided the soundtrack to what horror-themed Sega Saturn game? Brandon, you look like the kind of guy who knows a thing or two about legendary guitarists. What is your answer?
Let's just guess, Corpse Killer. I don't know.
Huh, Corpse Killer. That's an interesting guess, but no, that's not right. All right, Tino, what do you say?
Would it be Mr. Bones?
Yeah, you're right. It is Mr. Bones. Let's see if Jim can make this a 1-point game.
I'm gonna guess Mr. Bones.
Man, talk about an exciting game. You're right. The correct answer is Mr. Bones, which starred a guitar-playing skeleton. Ronnie Montrose has been playing with some of the biggest names in rock since 1969, including Van Morrison, Johnny Winters, Boz Scaggs, and more. Yeah, he's the perfect fit for Mr. Bones. Before we move on to the final round, I want to give you a chance to be part of the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Rogue Singularity, the upcoming game from Considerable Content. It's a fun 3D platformer that's basically Super Mario Galaxy as a roguelike. We have 4 Steam codes to give away, and I want you to have a copy. All you need to do is leave a comment on this video. That's it. I'll collect all the names on November 8th and pick a winner at random. Simple. Now, with that business out of the way, let's take one more look at our standings. Currently, we have Tino sitting in 3rd place with 6 points, followed by Jim with 9, and Brandon only 1 point ahead with 10. Ugh, Brandon completely fell apart in that Sega category, making this a close game. I can't wait to see who wins this final category. Ancient fighting games. All the games we're talking about in this category came out before Street Fighter II. Let's start with an easy one. You stand on a forklift filled with money in what early fighting game from Atari? Let's start with you, Tino.
I would believe it would be the muscle-bound game that is Pit Fighter.
There you go, another right answer. That brings you up to 7 points. Pit Fighter was a big hit in the arcades until the release of Street Fighter II. Hey Jim, do you know what game I'm talking about?
Pit Fighter.
Ah, this is an easy one. How about you, Brandon?
Pit Fighter?
Alright, everybody got it right, everybody gets a point. Maybe I'll stump you with this question. Long before unleashing the King of Fighters and Fatal Fury, what was SNK's very first street fighting game? Alright, Jim, can you tie this up?
The first Street Fighting game from SNK, it wouldn't happen to be Art of Fighting, would it?
No, Art of Fighting came out in 1992. That's well after Street Fighter II came out.
That came out after Street Fighter 2, yes, of course, that's why.
Alright, Tino, do you know it?
I think it would have to be Art of Fighting.
No. Art of Fighting definitely came out after Street Fighter II. I mean, you guys remember the whole Ryu thing, don't you? That was a whole controversy. They made a whole character about it. No, you're definitely wrong. Alright, Brandon, maybe you'll know the right answer.
Oh, Legend of Success Joe. I just guess.
No, but at least you're closer than the other guys. That at least came out in 1991. The right answer is Street Smart, a middling arcade game that also got ported to the Genesis. None of you got that right, so it's still a 1-point game. Next question. What early Nintendo game saw Street Fighters battling outside a discount store and snack bar? Okay, Tino, let's see what you said.
Oh, that would be the one game that somehow Nintendo always liked to re-release for some reason. It would be Urban Champion.
You're right, it is Urban Champion. And also that Nintendo does re-release this all the time. I'm not even sure why, it's not really that good, but it always shows up. Alright, Brandon, can you stop the bleeding?
Urban Champion?
Excellent, that's how it's done. Alright, Jim, you're only 1 point behind. Let's see you get the right answer.
That's Urban Fighter.
Oh, no, not Urban Fighter, it's Urban Champion.
That's right. I'm wrong. I had the right game in mind, wrong name.
Yeah, what a devastating blow, right at a time you don't want to lose points. Now it's back to a 2-point game. That's definitely not the direction you want to go, especially with only 2 questions left. Oh boy, what a disaster. Alright, let's see how you do with this next question. What old school Electronic Arts game let you choose between karate, bow fighting, kendo, and nunchuck fighting? Okay, Jim, this is your last chance to strike. What's the right answer?
Old Electronic Art game? Is this... You can't give me any hints, can you? I mean, this doesn't sound like an arcade game, because Electronic Arts didn't make arcade games way back when. I'm going to guess wrong. Because I know it's not by Electronic Arts, but I'm going to guess Karate Champ.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad guess, but you already know it's wrong because it's by Data East. Hey Tino, what's this Electronic Arts game?
Electronic Arts, okay, so... And this is pre-Street Fighter 2, so that would probably be... Alright, I'm going to just say... It's probably not EA, but I'm going to say Karate Champ.
Right, it's definitely not Karate Champ, because, again, that was by Data East. Alright, Brandon, you can do this. What's the right answer?
From Electronic Arts? I don't know. Let's say ER Kung Fu. I know that's wrong.
Well, at least you didn't say Karate Champ. The game in question is Budokan, a poorly received fighting game from 1989. Despite being able to choose from so many different fighting styles, none of them were fun, and nobody seems to remember this game. Let's see if the same can be said about the final question. Activision's very first fighting game had 4 unique names. What was just one of those names? Let's start with Jim on this one.
Pre-Street Fighter Activision fighting game. It had 4 names. Activision. I can't even think of an Activision fighting game. I'm gonna pass.
Nope. What do you say, Tino?
I'm going to say... Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. I guess, again, Karate Champ.
We're back to this. No, Karate Champ is Data East. Data East. Alright, Brandon, let's see what you got.
I didn't know Activision made a fighting game. Right. I'm just gonna say Karate Champ because I have no answer.
Not Karate Champ again. Anything but Karate Champ. Well, if anything has come from this, we all know that Karate Champ is from Data East, not Activision, and not Electronic Arts. This is a tricky one because not everybody thinks of it as being from Activision. The correct answer was Slaughter Sport, which was released elsewhere in the world as Tongue of the Fat Man, Mondu's Fight Palace, and just good old Fat Man. Resorsoft released it here in the United States, but Activision is responsible for this turd. And there we have it. After 4 categories and 20 questions, Brandon Mayo is the winner of the very first episode of Triviagate. He managed to answer a total of 12 questions correctly, and it would have been more if only he had known something about Sega games. Seriously, he needs to hook up a Genesis. Stat. On that note, I recommend you check out his webcomic over at hawkandcroc.com, and then go subscribe to both Jim and Tino's YouTube pages while you're at it. You'll find links in the description. If you liked what you saw and you want to be part of the fun, then I want to hear from you. We're always looking for contestants, so make sure and shoot me a DM, email, or tweet, and I'll make sure and get in touch. And if you have any ideas for future categories and questions, then drop the suggestions in the comment section below. I'm currently hard at work on future episodes, and I want you to be involved. So, from all of us at Defunct Games, I want you to stay safe, keep calm, and play some old games. See you next time on Triviagate.